So Prince Harry has been given an aviation award, calling him a living legend. And many critics, especially royal critics, are like, what in the world? We don't see him as a living legend, especially in aviation. But what we know is that Prince Harry and Meghan Markle have been receiving many awards recently where people go, and then awards that they want to be nominated for. Everybody's like, oh no, oh no. So I am here tonight. My name's Deanna, and I'm from Hot for History, and I'm super excited to be sharing with you this latest news about about Prince Harry and Meghan Markle, and we'll be talking about Prince Andrew. We will be talking about a comedian at the Golden Globes and what he said about Harry and Meghan, and we like this to be interactive. So if you have any questions or any comments, please feel free to share. So again, Prince Harry has been nominated, or he is the honoree for an award that claims that he is a living legend in aviation. Just for perspective, this award has been given out in the past to people like Elon Musk, who has created and is the founder of SpaceX. Hi, Rahala. Hi, Tina. Hi, Steve. Hi, guys. It's good to see you guys here. But yeah, he's nominated or being given this award. Neil Armstrong, Buzz Aldrin, even Richard Branson, who's had his own, he's had some, flying experiences. And so some people are like, well, it makes sense. Others are like, they definitely bought this award. So we're gonna read a couple of articles, and then I want you guys to sound off, and then we'll talk about some other royal news. But yeah, it's pretty interesting because many are criticizing him, and they're saying, what the heck? Harry at tops, he spent 20 weeks maybe as a co-pilot or a gunner, but my goodness, he should never have been given this award. But there were other celebrities, Tom Cruise. I do believe that John Travolta, but then people will argue, even I think it was Harrison Ford, that these people like actually have flown. Like Harrison Ford apparently has flown and even crashed his plane and survived, or almost crashed. So they're experienced pilots, where Harry, of course, he flew for a while, but the question is, it was so short, and some are just, so what we can't decipher yet is if it's just, again, the British press spewing over into the United States with this, or if it's legitimate criticism. So we're going to read the articles, we're going to talk about it, and we'll see. Give me your opinion. So it says here in a Newsweek article, Prince Harry's induction into the cohort of living legends of aviation has sparked backlash from high-ranking former members of the military in Britain, one of whom labeled the development of him as a living legend, in aviation, as, let's hear it, pathetic. So it was January 10th, and it was announced that Harry would join notable aviators such as former astronaut, it's hard to believe, Buzz Aldrin, movie star Tom Cruise, and billionaire Elon Musk as one of the U.S. organization's legends who are considered to have made significant contributions to aviation and aerospace. Ooh, Harry trained as an Apache helicopter pilot following his first tour to Afghanistan with the Blues and Royals Regiment. In 2012, after his training, the prince was redeployed to Afghanistan as a member of the Army Air Corps, where he served a 20-week deployment as a helicopter co-pilot and gunner. Okay, so that's where everybody gets stuck. They're like, wait, all we know is that he was a co-pilot and a gunner. Why is he getting this aviation award? We don't even know if he currently has his pilot's license. He hasn't flown in years. Like 10, 11 years at least. So what's up with this? So the prince's army career was referenced in detail in his 2023 memoir, Spare. Okay, so what we know about his Spare is that it was very controversial because he described the challenges that he faced in active duty, as well as from the increased attention because he was a royal. But what really got everybody, and to this day, I cringe just even trying to express what he said, even in code. So one element of his memoir that earned Harry backlash from a number of veterans was inclusion that he had, and he said he I have to speak in kind of in code, but he said he had basically taken out 25 Taliban in combat, and he said he just saw them as chess pieces. So he said it wasn't a number that gave him any satisfaction, but neither was it a number that made me feel ashamed. So that was like, woo, like very intense for him to have said that. So then he left the monarchy, as we know, in 2020 with Meghan Markle, and he's faced criticism on a number of occasions for interviews, media projects. Of course, they've been a hot mess. They've been all over the place, failing in many ways. I mean, they are making some money, but then they've lost a lot of money, and many are questioning whether the amount of money that they're making is really going to be able to sustain them in their ginormous home and lifestyle that they have in Montecito. Many people are saying that they may end up moving to Los Angeles, but then with security, and of course, Harry says that he needs much more security than your average celebrity. So there's that. So speaking to the Daily Mail, the former head of the Royal Navy, Admiral Lord West, said that, in his opinion, the prince had done little to earn this accolade. So I'm so curious to hear what you guys have to say about it, especially Rahala, who is in I don't know if you're in Los Angeles, but you're in California. So this person, this admiral, said he's not a living legend of aviation. To suggest that he is pathetic. It makes the whole thing seem a bit of nonsense if they're willing to pick someone like Prince Harry. The only thing I will say in defense of this particular thing, I mean, because to me also it was like, oh my gosh, a living legend. But I also would probably have the same reaction when I think of Tom Cruise, Harrison Ford, John Travolta. I mean, the same reaction, right? So if any, and they weren't really in the military, like Tom Cruise kind of pretended he was. So I don't know, based on the fact that this, yes, they've picked legends like Buzz Aldrin, Elon Musk, Neil Armstrong. Of course, then in that company, you're like, what in the world? Like even Richard Branson, I would be like, oh no, Harry is not even in that league. But he would, in my opinion, be in the same league as John Travolta, Tom Cruise, and even Harrison Ford. I mean, at least as far as flying, maybe not, the celebrity status and the background. So anyhow, that would be the one thing I would say in defense of him. And if that's the case, then maybe the British press are like going overboard. I am from Los Angeles. I would love to meet them. I would love to meet them too. I mean, I'm curious to see what their next step is. So now they're saying this. Okay, let me read the rest and then we'll chat a little bit. So they're saying, again, military, mainly in England. He's not a living legend. There are lots of people who deserve to be called this, but not Prince Harry. I find it extraordinary he's been picked. He didn't carry off any great, exciting feat of amazing flying skill while flying for the army. They're just trying to get publicity. They know it'll cause a stir. I find the whole thing really pathetic. I'm going to speak on that in a second. Well, I'll speak on it now. So again, I think, okay, the award shows, especially like this living legend aviation, I think they're always to bring press. That's why they have like I said, Harrison Ford and some of these other people. So yeah, they did have Captain Sully one year, and he, if you don't know him, he had to land a giant passenger jet. I don't know what size it was, but I believe it was the East River. Was it the East River? Yeah. In New York. And it was exceptional. And so he would be a legend in my mind. But again, it's, the criticism is, okay, well, the press, they just want press for this. But yeah, I think they typically would acknowledge, kind of famous people. They just do. Granted, there's probably tons of pilots, many who have given their lives, and many of them who have, struggled so much that are exceptional but overlooked, that should be recognized, so that's when it's infuriating. But when you think of America and the way that we kind of just try to promote things in order to make money, I guess it makes sense. Okay, let me see. Oh, the Hudson. Thank you, Tina. I lived in New York for years, but I couldn't remember because I wasn't there at the time. Okay, Rahala. How does Prince Harry still have his title as prince when he left the royal family? I think it's because he's he was born as a prince. And so, they're just having him keep that. The question is whether or not they'll keep the Duke and Duchess of Sussex title. I don't think he'll ever lose his prince title. But even removing the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, which is sort of like a working title, like people really should be in Sussex and honoring that, just like Andrew is the Duke of York, and the people of York are just incensed about that. So it is what it is. And can't the royal family fly a plane or become, yes, of course. And like Will was in the military as well. So, okay, I think both of them bought, yeah, here we go. So I think of them bought all of their awards. Such pity. This puts bad shade on the organization. Yeah. So again, criticism and gossip is that, okay, why does like Meghan, Harry, like even the award, I don't even remember what it was, but in New York, a lot of the people in New York, even though I couldn't remember, it was the Hudson River. I lived for years in New York City in events, but the people who were at the event were like, we didn't even care that they were there. And we hardly noticed that they got this award. It was just, they've been dissed from like, they never got an award for their Netflix series, which by the way, even though many of us may not have liked the fact that they did that, it was pretty well received as far as views, viewership. It wasn't well received, critically. It didn't get critical acclaim, but they never even got nominations for those. And we're going to talk about that in a second. The Golden Globes, she wanted all this attention, didn't get that. So it seems so interesting. It's almost like anytime that Kate or Will or the king do anything, they come up with some type of thing like this. And this was released, by the way, guys, with Omid Scobie, who claims, he wrote that book recently, and, Endgame, and he claims that he's not, on their payroll, but I don't know. Okay, so how is he still in line of the throne? Like, if you leave the royal family, you can or can't be in line for the throne. Yeah, so he is. He's like, what, fifth? We have George. So we have Will. We have George, we have Charlotte, and then we have Louis, who I accidentally call Lewis sometimes, and then I get in trouble from people from the UK. So he's number 5, right? I think that if it really came down to it, Rahala, that they would pass on him. They would be like, nope, sorry, you have to live in the country, yada, yada. But there actually have been times in the past in royal history where the fifth in line, specifically Queen Victoria, were, they were named the queen, like she was named the queen. So it's possible. It's, God forbid anything happened to the entire family. But actually at one point, there's a rumor that Meghan said to somebody, again, rumor, I'm not saying it's true, but I tend to know what the rumors are, that she said, look, we're just one plane crash away from being the next monarchs. So whether or not that's true, I don't know, but that's what is said that she said. So, okay, let's finish reading a little bit of this. And then there's some other news that I wanted to talk to you guys about. But yeah, I mean, it's this, I feel like I'm kind of similar to you, Rahala, where it's like, I wouldn't mind meeting them. I think it'd be interesting and fascinating. But at the same time, it's like, it's so perplexing. On the one hand, all of us understand why they would have left in the first place, right? But how they left and then why they had to not have poise, not have, sort of a gracious and intelligent. That's for me. And I'll just be blunt. I think that it was not intelligent. Like they really were not intelligent in how they handle any of this. It's like, none of it makes sense. That's why we keep talking about it. Cause we're like, what the heck? Like, what were they thinking? Okay. And this is just a minor thing, but just some of the things that they've said, some of the things they've done. I still have a problem with the fact that they never spent as much time with the queen that they could have when she was kind of on her way out. Like that really bothers me. So it's frustrating because on the one hand, so many of us were cheering them on. We were like, yay, Meghan's becoming a princess. We were so excited about it. And so many of us loved Harry. He was our number one guy, right? We liked that he was a little, off. We liked that. But, it's the type of thing where now it's just played out. It's just played out, right? So, okay. So retired Army Colonel Richard Kemp is quoted by the Sun as saying there were more deserving military servicemen. Yes, 1,000%, who have not received an acknowledgement, but it's clear that they were wanting somebody famous. You know, it's just true. I can think of many people who did pretty extraordinary things while serving in the British and American armed forces who would be much more deserving of an award like this, he said. It is obvious because of who he is, not what he did. An Apache is crewed by two people, a pilot and a gunner. Harry was a gunner. He was number 2 in the aircraft. Speaking of these criticisms, royal expert Richard Fitzwilliams told Newsweek that it's unsurprising Harry's recognition by the living legends of aviation has been met with skepticism, because obviously everybody's like, what in the world? He's probably is going to go receive the award, but it says when you are the object of mockery, this brings up a good point. As the Sussexes recently have been, it's surely wise to choose the awards you are offered with care, he said. The living legend obviously would apply to famous aviators, those who, and that is the one thing, like for my point where I'm going, oh, well, they did have, John Travolta and all that. It is true. If you're going to have the title living legend, this does not apply at all. Yeah, so it says with important links to the space program, entrepreneurs and innovators who have achieved remarkable feats in this field. Harry's founding of the Invictus Games is certainly notable. We all love that, right? However, his stint as an Apache pilot during the second tour of duty in Afghanistan is certainly not enough to make him a legend. The criteria include pilots who have become celebrities. The cap fits on that one. But so he's saying, oh, if it's a criteria that, okay, we are looking for celebrities that are pilots. Okay, we get it. The cap fits on that one, but where is the extraordinary accomplishment in aviation, which is supposedly required? There will therefore be a good deal of laughter when this is mentioned in the future. Veterans are right to be skeptical, he said. They are obviously after a well-known name to give publicity to the award. Their choice of Harry is not an appropriate one. So that was Newsweek. So yeah. And this is, everybody's just like, what in the world? Like, what in the world happened? Like, why did he get this award? What kind of crazy thing is this? So, okay, let me take a couple of questions and then we're going to move on to a little bit of gossip like the Golden Globes. For those of you guys who don't really know me, again, Hot for History. That is what I do. I have a lot of short videos and, not only shorts, we have Queen Margaretta's, abdication tomorrow, along with Prince Frederick in Denmark. So we've got that. We're going to talk about a little bit of Prince Andrew and Meghan and Harry. So I just want to mention my jewelry. This video is not sponsored, but I've had a lot of people comment on the jewelry. This is called it's fine. Fashion fine jewelry or something, and this is by Park Lane, and I do have links in my description and then on my YouTube channel for those of you who would want to just support what I'm doing with jewelry. I like jewelry. They have amazing stuff. It's affordable, and right now I have a group on another platform that has many people, and we're talking about jewelry, and I love the royal jewelry and the crown jewelry. So I just decided that I would partner as an affiliate with this company. These earrings are normally longer. I just cup them around. And then this necklace is so cool. You probably can't see it all. So anyhow, I've got all this great jewelry. And more of that is coming. Okay, so let's take these questions first. Rahal, I had a question. Will Harry divorce his wife, Meghan, like Charles did Diana? So the divorce rumors have been going on for at least 2 or 3 years. So it's the type of thing where many of us are like, this doesn't look right. And Meghan, who we were all cheering for and kind of could understand why they would leave as long as they stayed connected, does appear to be somewhat controlling. That's all I'll say. But again, do I know her? No, I'm just telling you what it appears, her image and all of that. But he appears to be somewhat like not having enough of a backbone, in my opinion. And doesn't make that many intelligent decisions. But will they get a divorce? Who knows? There are people who seem so odd and so oddly coupled, and yet somehow they're really loyal to each other and they get along and they make it work. So we don't know. Yeah, he is far back from the throne, far back, 1,000%. So I don't think that's a possibility in this day and age. I think, they hardly let people even fly together that are in the line. So we'll see. Okay, so we're going to talk about this Golden Globes, in a nutshell. What happened, let me see, at the Golden Globes was that there was a joke, which was, in my opinion, pretty funny, because it was they basically just talked about how Harry and Meghan basically do nothing. They do nothing, and they do nothing, and then they make all this money. And I think, did the joke fall flat? I don't know. I think people kind of chuckled. The camera took like a close-up of, I believe it was the CEO of Netflix. So there were a couple of jokes. There was a Taylor Swift joke that kind of fell flat too. I watched it because of the jewelry. I'm going to be honest. I watched the red carpet and I looked at all the red carpet pictures because I was just like, ooh, love all the dresses. So that's what I watched. Taylor Swift didn't win for her movie. Barbie did. So just letting you guys know, I'm sure you all know that. Okay. But then here's another big deal. Let's talk about, I can't get into, there's certain things I can't say, right? But there was the list, the Schmepstein list. I could probably say that. I'm sorry. I know I'm hypersensitive about that, but that list came out. And I think the number of Prince Andrew's visits was something like 70 times. And then there were these things that kind of rhyme with orange peas that he was involved in with a lot of people who weren't, who were younger. So everybody's asking, okay, now will the king evict him from the Royal Lodge? And Andrew, who is apparently devastated because they did get to walk, for Christmas. Sarah got to walk for Christmas. It seemed like everything was fine. And then in the beginning of January, bam, this news came out. So apparently they're saying that the king is entertaining the idea again to move Prince Andrew into Frogmore. But Andrew's not having it. He's like, dude, I am staying here. I don't care what the heck I've done. This is like a 30-room mansion. I will live here. I don't care. So I don't know. I think they wanted to take away the public funding so he could at least back himself. And the King Charles is trying to do something, but it's not necessarily working out. So Prince Andrew, another, big question. It says he's dominated the headlines. It's kind of softened down now. This is the first week. Newly released court documents mentioned Andrew more than 70 times in nearly 1,000 pages of interviews and transcripts. The Duke has previously denied the allegations, and he did pay, I think it was $14 million to Virginia Giuffre, and Giuffre or Gouffre, it depends on how you say it, with no admission of guilt after she accused him of SA when she was just 17. So other people are saying, well, can he get arrested now that it's out? No, it's basically done. It's like that's not going to happen again. I don't know what would happen if he went to the States, So Grant Harold spoke to GB News about the difficulties that resurfaced claims posed to the king. I think that the stress will certainly have an impact. The thing about the king is he's very professional. We've seen him in recent years losing his parents. He gets on with the job. Everything that's taken place with his brother, obviously they're just allegations 70 times. Whew! But the king will still take it seriously. Andrew stepped down from the public life after the furor of his friendship with Epstein and is not likely to return anytime soon. I don't think there's a sign in returning to do so and to do anything. I think with families, sometimes with families, there can be things that happen and families normal. I mean, it sounds like the king is wanting to take care of him. What can he do at this point? Honestly, what can he do? What's Andrew going to do? He's a prince. He lives in a mansion. on the Windsor estate. But imagine being the spare and the laughter. Like, honestly, he's embarrassing. He's embarrassing. So that's the big deal. They're all like, I don't know, So yeah. Okay. So if Charlotte is the third in line for the throne, it's supposed to be the boy. No. Okay. That's a really great question. It was always that. It was always that. But then they changed the law. I know in Denmark, they changed it in 2009. I think it was after Charlotte was born, they changed it, or before she was born. I can't remember. The Queen Elizabeth changed it to be like, bam, bam. It's just, I think very few of the, what do they call it? Progenitor laws are just for the guys anymore. They're mainly, at least the European ones, they just go to the firstborn now of the line. So once William is king, then George will be next in line, and Charlotte. Now, it's possible that Charlotte could become a queen. I doubt it would be like, okay, that's not working and that's not working, so now it's Louis. But Charlotte could be. Honestly, I think she has all the personality and everything to be the queen. But yeah, that's how it works now, even though it used to be, okay, it's the son, the first son of the heir. But no, and if that was the case, then it would be William, George, and then Louis. And then it would be Andrew. It would be, it would be Harry. But that's not the case. So that's it. So I just wanted to talk about all of this about Harry. What do you guys think? Hey, Stephen. You missed this. I was just about to sign off, but I think if you have anything else you want me to talk about, we'll talk about it. So we were talking about Harry. What you missed is that we were talking about Harry and his aviation award. Then we touched upon the joke at the Golden Globes with Meghan and Harry. And then we also discussed Prince Andrew, who, the documents came out. He was mentioned 70 times. I love when you send me stuff. If anybody wants to send me anything, it's my email should be on all of my contact information, but I'll put it here if you want to. But Stephen, if you have anything else to say, let me know. Otherwise, I'm signing off, and you can watch the replay, and I will look for your comments after and your emails. But there's been some questions about whether or not Harry and Meghan are staying together. So yes, bogus award. I got offered similar and framed. Oops. Okay. Yeah, we do think that it was paid for. It does seem like a bogus award. It doesn't make any sense to most of us. And so we're all wondering, why? What was that all about? It's like, I would almost be, if I was Harry, I would probably decline, but they don't often do things that most people might do. You know what I mean? So it is what it is. All right, guys, I'm going to sign off. Stephen, you came on late. Sorry. Thank you guys for being here tonight. And please do share and like, and I will be coming back with some shorts and try to come back on soon. If you want some jewelry, please go to my link. This is from Park Lane. They're based out of Chicago. I'm an Illinois girl. So, and I'm having an event on a Facebook group. You guys are free to join that. The link should be in all of my links. Otherwise, you can just shop. Okay, I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.